Hello, welcome back to Milk
Eggs.
and a whole lot of
Tea.
tea. That was a horrible high note I did.
Yeah, same. We're no Beyonce, but that's okay.
We're not. We have no Texas Hold'em.
Nor 16 carriages.
No.
Mm-mm. Oh my God, how are you doing today, Allegra?
I'm good. How
Good.
are you?
I'm doing good. We are back in the studio yet again.
We're back.
So exciting.
It's good to be back.
It is. It's been a little minute since we've been in here.
On our podcast journey.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a couple episodes in right now, and we're just thank you all for the love and the support.
Absolutely.
And just listening to us talk about just stuff.
Random shit.
Yeah.
Very random.
All the random shit.
I do have a question. Sorry to interrupt you because it's just popped in my mind.
Yeah.
So as we are doing this podcast journey, and it can be a lot, it can be very daunting. And plus, I have a 9-to-5, I'm a busy woman.
Busy woman.
And you have your own design company.
Yep.
And managing your podcast work and this, I'm really thinking about self-care.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, self-care. What about self-care? Tell me more.
One of my, resolutions was to prioritize self-care. And what does self-care look like for me?
Ooh, okay. So tell me more. Tell me more. Keep telling me.
So oftentimes, I would feel guilty for taking some self-care. Just taking a little bit of time for myself.
Okay.
Right? Because I am the eldest daughter, so I'm the HR of my family.
Yeah.
And I have a lot to manage.
Yeah.
So I started to learn what does self-care look like for me? And self-care can be little things like doing mental health, going to my therapy appointments.
Okay.
Start prioritizing taking little walks.
Ooh, I like getting outside.
Music. That's the form of my self-care.
Ooh.
So getting back to resolutions, because I know I talk to in circles.
Yeah.
But you sound so happy.
Yeah.
So getting back to I know we're halfway through the year.
Yeah. Gosh, are we really 2024?
But 2024, our thing is to be loud, have good vibes.
Be loud, have good vibes, and start shit that we didn't even think we were going to do.
Absolutely.
And just why not?
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, yeah, sorry.
Sorry. So, Brandon, how are you taking care of you?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know.
Okay.
Thank you, therapy.
I love this. Going to turn into a therapy podcast. No, so I'm with you. Walks, one of my favorite things to do. Love going on walks, love getting outside. Because when it just kind of gives you a new perspective, but also too, it's outside. I don't like being confined to my four walls all the time. I would say really, baths. I love a good bubble bath. So I'll take baths. I love taking showers, which is so weird to say, but I just
that you like to bathe?
Yeah, I like to bathe. But I like to bathe, but that calms me, if that makes sense.
Oh,
that's
taking a shower calms you
yes,
down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, of course I like to bathe. And there's some other things that I don't think I can, say on camera, but I like to do. But we all have our little whatever they're called, little quirks and things that we do. But yeah, and I would say just really spending time with myself. I think that's a big one. My my partner travels for a lot of the time, so it's to me it's having that me time, but also having that us time as well. Because if I'm able to feed myself, to be able to take care of myself, I'm able to then turn around and take care of my partner and those around me.
Yeah, that's a really good point of what I'm hearing you saying, taking care of oneself, you're able to be better, show up better in your relationships.
Yep. All around, I think too. And even for myself, because I mean, you mentioned you work a 9-to-5. I mean,
I do.
I similar on my company. But it's to understanding those boundaries too of, how do I create, especially nowadays, a lot of people working in their homes, sleeping in their home, it's your home. So it's finding a way to have an office in a different area of the home, I'm able to be fortunate enough to have that, but and to be able to shut the door and say, okay, that's work. And that's setting that boundary for me to then take care of myself and to take care of my dog. right? Like,
Mhm.
I can't give a lot to my dog if I'm not
Mhm.
energized and things. But
Mhm.
okay, enough about me. What about you?
Yeah,
I know you said walks. I know you said a couple other things, but what are therapy? What are some other things that you do?
yeah, I really am into, like, physical health.
So
So,
you go to the gym every day?
I mean, I go to the gym 3 days out the week.
Oh, good for
I
you.
do.
That is amazing. And what time are you going to the gym?
That's a great question because I learned self-discipline as a
Oh,
form of my self-care.
okay.
So, I meet one trainer at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Well,
Ho-
I'm lying. I get out the bed at 4:30. I be there around 5. But I
oh,
try to set my alarm. You know how we have 3 alarms, 4 a.m., 4:15, 4:30. I get out the bed at 4:30. Yeah,
hold on. You're like making me sweat. You like that 4:30
I do.
Allegra. I'm sorry for anybody else that works up that early, but that is ungodly. That is ungodly right
We
there.
got us you have to start your day early,
Ooh.
but it took practice. Like,
Okay.
normally, before it was a struggle. Like,
Yeah.
4:45, I'm like, "Oh, do I have to
I
go
mean,
in
the
here
roosters aren't
today?"
even up,
It's might be dark, it's
right?
cold,
Like what?
and I don't know if I wanna do this.
No, but you
But
do
yeah,
it,
it took a
which I'm so proud of you.
thank you. It took
Yeah.
discipline.
Discipline.
Definitely discipline.
Definitely discipline. Okay.
Yeah, so the gym is part of my self-care,
Okay.
and then I have spiritual self-care.
Mm.
So, I know. Mm.
Mm.
So, me meditation,
Yep. Love to
going
do
to the
that.
church. I don't go to the church house.
You go to church in the
I
house,
go to
in your
church in
house.
the
Yeah.
house. I log on at 11:15 every morning. That's what I do. And I that's my spiritual, like,
God, I love you.
self-care.
Yeah.
And then feeding my body. So, like, I like to eat good. I like to make sure I get my protein, my vegetables.
Yep. Protein,
Um,
veggies,
but
little
I learned,
snack.
yeah, like, you have like my flight attendant days when like the oxygen mask come down. So we say like put yours on first before you like put on your child or whatever.
Mhm.
So it's like self-care is feeding you, like feeding your soul, like you said. Because I can't
Mm.
be good to you if I'm not taking care of me.
100%, right?
Hmm.
100. Oh, damn, this is deep. This is like a
It is deep.
Oprah Soulful Sunday
It
type
is.
episode
You know
right
I love me some
now.
Oprah.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. So
Yes.
what are some things that you've done to for example, you were talking about how you wake up at the
Hmm.
ask or before the dawn's up. But what and you said it took you a while, but what are some things that you do to overcome those barriers for self-care? Like your mind
Mm,
saying, "Don't get up," right? You can sleep 30 more minutes or those types of things.
yeah. I think being your own cheerleader. And also a part of self-care is, like, visualization for me. So I'm all
Yes.
about having, like, a vision board,
Ooh,
manifestation, and I'm
ooh.
like, "Alright, girl, get up,"
Yeah,
because get up will help you with, like, your physical health.
yeah.
But, like, what goals do you have for yourself? But it took a lot of self-discipline and
Damn.
also giving yourself grace,
Y
like, for planning, like, and sometimes you gotta plan it, put it in your calendar
yeah.
and, like, give yourself grace to have, like, your me time.
So what you're saying is block off time in my calendar each
Absolutely.
day or
Mhm.
whenever I feel is needed, and that's my time.
That is your time.
I love that. So that was one way that you overcome that barrier
Mhm.
of I love that. Yeah, and it's practice, 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 and
Yeah.
like you were saying, like waking up every day at that time and
Mhm.
just getting yourself into that routine.
Mhm.
Whew,
It's a lot.
dang.
I think providing yourself time for self-care can be you do feel guilty, I think, in a way.
And why? Like,
I
explain that.
think, like, you can feel guilty because you feel like you have all these other things to do, like, you're needed for someone else,
Mm.
and, like, you have to make sure that your house is good, you have to make sure, work is going well. But I think, like, setting time for oneself can be hard and challenging.
You're so right. Because I think of I'm a very type A person. I'm
Yeah.
OCD
Uh-huh.
in a lot of
Ooh.
ways. I know
Ooh.
it's bad, but not bad. I've
Mhm.
definitely worked over the last couple of years on myself, which is good.
Mhm.
Um, but I think to that level of professionalism or perfectionism,
Mhm.
not professionalism, perfectionism.
Yeah.
Um, because I think it helps me maintain that control in my life. Like, for example,
Oh.
vacuuming the house. If the floor is dirty, I know I can control how clean it gets with vacuuming. So my floor, and
Mm.
this is random, but my floor is
Mhm.
always vacuumed. Like every other day. I know I'm crazy. Okay. Um, but no, so like that to me and things that like I'll find myself even like if I have a task to do, at work,
Mhm.
um, I'll unload the dishwasher or I will clean the counters or I will
Yeah.
do something that's creating that barrier for me to get a task done or
Mhm.
it talk or start taking care of myself where I'm like, "Oh, I gotta take care of everything else before I can myself," and that hurts.
Mhm.
I've learned that it hurts me, at least as a person, of like, it's okay that the house is not vacuumed every other day, or
Right.
it's okay that the president ain't coming, is what I'm trying
Mhm.
to say. It's
Mhm.
just me and my family, but
Right.
yeah, it's that like the does that make sense?
Yeah, I totally feel you. And I think also I've learned now that you don't have to do everything on your own as a part of self-care. Like I don't like to clean a house.
Yeah.
So like I have someone come clean my house for me. Like that's a
Yeah.
form of self-care that I love.
Oh, I bet.
That I love it. I don't want to go back of cleaning my house. But also like that helps me out because it relieves something that I don't have to do.
Which yeah,
Yeah.
damn, okay, I'm gonna take that
Mhm.
into account. I might get me a maid next
Get
week.
you a house
Or a house cleaner, I'm
cleaner,
so
and
sorry.
no, you're fine. Get you a house cleaner.
Yeah.
It'll make everything easier on your life.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I could do that.
Mhm.
I can do that. Um, so how do you maintain self-care from a relationship aspect? So we've been talking this season, if y'all haven't
Mhm.
found this out already, we're really talking about relationships this season from how we got started to who you've seen on our show thus far and who you're going to see. So how do how do you prioritize self-care for yourself
Mhm.
to give to others in a relationship?
I do believe grace and space.
Ooh,
So I
say it
need
again.
what did I say it right? Space and
You
grace?
said grace and space, which I
Grace. Oh,
like.
yeah, grace and space.
Got to get grace to get
Yes.
space.
So I think you need your me time. Your
Mm.
me time. And then also determine like what does your self-care look like for you?
Mhm.
So like in a relationship, maybe your self-care is going to the grocery store by
Ooh,
yourself,
okay,
walking the dog by yourself.
okay.
You have to have that space. I don't think I'm the type of person that will like clingy or needs to be like up on a person.
Mhm.
And having that space to me is a form of self-care. Does that make
It
sense?
makes complete sense.
Okay.
You have I mean, and it's also to that independency, but also that growth that
Mhm.
you've talked about before
Mhm.
is understanding that that is okay to be alone.
Mhm.
It is okay to have me time because that's what energizes me.
Yeah. And then I think also a form of self-care, it could be like buying flowers for yourself.
Oh, I used to do that
Like,
all the time.
yeah,
Every
like
paycheck.
buy some
Yeah.
every paycheck. What?
Well, we'd get paid twice a week, twice
Oh,
a month.
got you.
So every paycheck
Right.
I'd get, I'd go to Trader Joe's, no lie, and pick out a
Oh.
bouquet of flowers and then have that for the week or however 2 weeks that it
See,
lasted.
you budget good. I don't budget well. That's why I was
Yeah.
like, "What?" Okay, so, yeah, like, setting up your routine, like, making your space, like, I feel like I'm very romantic. Like,
Yeah.
I love my flowers, I love my candles, and, like, going to bed, I like to dim the lights, make it nice and
Ooh.
romantic. That's part of, like,
Oh,
my self-care routine,
I
and I do
like
that every
that.
day,
You
and I
get you
actually
some candles going too every day? Yeah, you have
absolutely.
to smelling good.
Smelling good, yes,
Uh,
like, that's a form of, like, self-care for me. So,
ah,
needless to
I
say,
love that.
self-care can be done every day if you just plan for it.
You're absolutely right, yeah.
Mhm.
You're absolutely right. I mean, even yoga, even meditating, like you said earlier, all
Uh-huh.
those are forms of self-care. Whatever you can do to spend time with yourself,
Mhm.
I think, and to fuel yourself
Yeah.
is what self-care really, really
Mhm.
is. And we
Absolutely.
ain't no psychologists, y'all. We're
No,
not.
definitely not there.
But we know a couple of things from experience. Okay.
Mhm.
So, Allegra, we're
Brandon.
halfway through the year already, like you said.
Yes.
Um, which is kind of crazy. What are some resolutions that you had? We know we talked about
Got you.
self-care, right?
Uh-huh.
What are some resolutions that you had that are still kind of keeping that momentum? But also too, kind of a two-part question. How are you keeping that momentum going with those resolutions?
That's a good question because I don't think we ever revisit our resolutions.
I agree with you. I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't until we were planning this episode out, and I was like, "Shit, I gotta talk
What
about
were
my
my
resolution."
resolutions? Okay, so I think I'm all about like manifestation
Yep.
and doing like the vision board.
Okay.
So I did my vision board and I put some things on that I wanted to aspire, like starting a podcast. But then some of my resolutions was getting my money together, like
Mm.
learning how to budget,
Mhm.
prioritizing healthy relationships,
Yep.
prioritizing me, myself, and I, like Beyonce said.
Ooh, come on,
Yeah,
Beyonce.
like look at me, um, how I show up.
Yeah.
Make sure that doing mental check-ins.
Yeah.
So make sure I go to my therapy appointments or like make sure I go to the gym. Those are some of my like resolutions. Um,
That's
and
awesome.
having a good knowing what a good healthy relationship looks like.
Ooh, that's good.
I'm simple.
That's very simple, but
Hmm.
th that's a list of things,
Yeah.
and how is that going?
It's going good
Yeah?
because I think I say like my slogan for 2024 is like good vibes only. So
Ooh,
we gonna have fun.
we're
We
gonna have
have
fun.
no fear
Yeah.
and be honest, truthful, and you gonna make mistakes. Like who doesn't make a
Yeah, we're
mistake?
adult, we're
But
human.
yeah, like be
Mhm.
authentic you.
I
Hmm.
love that, that's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh, thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
that was my TED talk.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. That's it, I'm done. I'm done for the day. Okay.
Oh, what about you? I didn't even ask.
Oh, what about me? Okay, resolutions, they're going pretty good. I
Mm,
honestly I didn't have a lot because typically I do like I'll write down like 10 items and I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm like halfway through the year and I'm only on it 3," which is
mhm,
fine.
mhm,
But and it's that kind of what you were saying earlier is give myself grace a little bit. But I only kind of just did 3 this year. And it
mm,
was, your mantra, which is good vibes only.
mhm,
Mine was basically just start shit that you haven't started and see how it
mm.
goes. And
I
like
like that.
challenge
Start
myself
shit that say it one more time.
s-
Start shit
and see how it
and
goes.
see how it
And
goes.
see how it go. Cause it's
Yeah.
I mean that the yeah, like it's one of those things where for so long we always we're human. We're always thinking, what if I did this? What if I did this? Or
Mhm.
things like that. And I just finally I was like, enough's enough. Like let me pick 3 things this year to focus on and let me just boom, boom, boom. At least know that again, kind of going back to that perfectionism, I can control it,
Oh
but it's also
gosh,
too one
yeah.
of those things on that list was, learning how to let go a little bit, learning how to just take a step back and breathe. You don't have to be in the driver's seat all the time.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
would say that they're going good.
Good.
Yeah, and we're here today. So
We is here.
we is here.
We is here.
Okay, so a couple things that I was hearing you say about keeping your resolutions momentum going is,
Mhm.
you know, staying focused. So you talked about it a little bit earlier of
Yeah,
like, having that vision board to kind of, always reference back to or whatnot.
absolutely.
But
And I make it look cute too.
I bet you
I
do.
do. I framed it and
You
then
like bought a frame
I
for it.
did. I bought a frame. I put it up on my desk or above my desk and I look at it like I study it. I'm like, okay, I wanted to start like a podcast. Did it.
Bam.
Like, who are the people you look up to? Love me some Issa Rae.
Oh, Isa.
Yes, knowing her story, like,
Yes.
started it.
Yeah.
Um, Oprah, like, people who, like, I admire.
Yeah.
And I put that on my vision board, and that was part of my, like, self-care was creating, like, a plan for myself. And it's like, I don't have to, like, knock all this stuff off, like, this year, but
Yeah.
these are the goals I have set for me, and no one's checking it except for me.
Yeah.
So I have to hold myself accountable.
Say that again.
Hold yourself accountable.
You do because no one is there telling you to get up. No
Mhm,
one's there to tell you, "Let's go." Like,
mhm.
it's your mind. It's
Yeah.
you might be with somebody hypothetically, but
Right, but you have yeah.
it's you at the end of the day, like you were saying, is
Mhm.
get up and let's go or, and do something. Like,
Yes.
you got me going to church today on
I
this
mean, I do go to the
episode.
church house
Yeah.
well, virtual church.
Imma drive by the church is what Medea said in her movie, okay? She said, "I ain't going to the church, Imma drive by the church," and that's what she did.
But yeah, so I think all in all, Brandon,
Mhm.
how would you sum up this podcast?
This episode or
This episode,
this
yeah.
episode? Um, really summing it up by, take care of yourself, I would say. I would say also to give yourself grace and space. I
Mhm.
love that what you said about that. I think it is 100% accurate of getting up, giving yourself grace, giving
Mhm.
yourself some space, but also doing the damn thing, getting it
Mm.
done, right?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, we're our own cheerleaders and we have, if we want stuff to happen, we have to make it happen.
Absolutely. So take that bubble bath.
I'm gonna take one tonight.
Take that bubble bath.
Okay, so what else you got for us?
All right. So let's see. I think another form of self-care
Mhm.
is practicing gratitude. Did we already say that? I feel like
I think we did, that grace kind of piece
Oh,
and,
yeah.
just being able to, you know, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I think we did. I think we covered that one.
Cool. Let's sum it up for this episode of self-care. What are some takeaways that we can share with our viewers?
Ooh, takeaways, good questions.
Mhm.
Or good question. So one takeaway is to show up for yourself.
Mm.
And that means planning, that means showing yourself grace, that means giving yourself some space. That means planning for yourself to take care of yourself, whether that's a walk, bubble bath, whatever that might be.
Gotcha.
Um, what is one key takeaway for you?
Mm. Is make self-care fun and romantic. That's what it
Wow!
is. Be romantic with it.
I love
Um,
this.
yeah, I think it can be cute. Okay,
Cute
so
and wait, one more thing before we close it. Be open and honest with yourself.
oh,
I think
yeah.
that's really important to understand, who you are, what you want in life, not just with your resolutions, but who are
Mhm,
you as a person, your principles, your goals, your values.
mhm,
And that will help you kind of just align and help you get better of, hey, do I need to meditate? Do I need to,
mm,
this or that, the third? What makes me me and what makes self-care for me important?
right. So, what I'm taking from that is, like, resolutions or self-care, they can be flexible.
Yeah, absolutely, they can be
That's what
flexible.
it is.
Yes, they can be flexible, and you can always adjust.
Mhm.
And like you were saying earlier, it's you that's giving
Mm,
yourself the checklist, no one else, right?
yeah,
So, I mean, if you get one done tomorrow, cool. If you get one done 3 months from now,
so be it.
yeah,
You can always revisit the list.
yeah, you can.
Alright.
Okay, well, close this out for our people in the
This
audience.
is Milk Eggs.
And a whole lot of tea.
I'm Allegra.
And I'm Brandon.
Thank you for joining us today.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Yay!